Monday is here, guys. I am so excited. I have been waiting for Monday. We're back with another episode of Season 3, The Golden Kamuy. I'm so excited. I can't tell you how excited I get Mondays. Monday is now like my favourite day of the week. Bar Tuesday as well, but we'll get onto that later. So we go back straight into it. This episode, I have so much I want to say about this episode. Plus Ultra opening, because they do not waste any time introducing this character. And as I mentioned last week, it is All Might voice actor, which is Kenta. I'm gonna be referring to him as Ganmight, or at a later date I call him Kinky Might. His real name is Ganzoku Malharu. That's his real name. I'm not going to be mentioning it. I think he's only really going to be in it for this one episode, which is a shame. I'd like to see him in the anime for longer. He's probably just a character we see once off thing, so we will be giving him a nickname, and I'm going to enjoy giving him a nickname. Sugimoto finally meeting Ganmight. The open is just them offering this handshake, and he's like, I will see you soon. That is our open, and that kicks us off. And we go straight back into it, back into our Stenka. First rule of Stenka, guys, you don't talk about Stenka, but we are here. We are back with our barman, who last episode we saw him dog napping. He's holding the dog ransom. Essentially, he says, you must lose the Stenka and then I will return the dog for you. So they are match fixing. They've got a load of the locals to bet that the Japanese will lose against the tattooed man. You can just tell from the way Sugimoto is looking that he's just not impressed. So glad that they didn't go through with it. I didn't really want to see them throw the match. I actually wanted to see them fight for real. Now that we're here, now that they've dragged Ganmight into this, I need to see them fight properly. I want to see Sugimoto go full on with All Might, and that's what we get. That is what we see. Sugimoto pretty much go, you know what? Screw this. He kind of snaps, and then he pushes a bartender to the floor and starts to rip out the guy's hair, which is a reference to what he said last episode. He said, I'm going to rip out whatever hair he has left. So we just kind of see him like ripping out this poor guy's hair. To be fair, we don't see this guy again. Whether this guy is no more, or I don't know, they did kind of leave it on a bit of a cliffhanger with this guy. They threaten to slice off each of his fingers one by one until the dog is returned, which turns out to be an Ainu punishment. Fine, we're going to slice off your fingers and we're going to bury you in the yard, and then we're going to go to Stenka and kidnap the tattooed man, which is initially what I thought was their plan. So this is the plan they seem to be going through with. And we can see the barman, who's absolutely terrified, and he says, wait, I've got information on Kirorenki. Don't kill me. 3 out of the 4 of Team Sugimoto seems pretty much convinced this guy is lying and he's just going to try and save his life. Sugimoto being the only one at first going, wait, I don't think he's lying. And then it just cuts. It cuts back to the Stenka. Whether this guy is alive, you can cast your bets, guys. Do we believe this guy is still alive? If you're a manga reader, don't spoil it. just kind of put a little nod in the corner, or just kind of put the angry eyebrows or something. I don't know. Is the barman dead? Who knows? Let's go into Team Sugimoto versus Team Plus Ultra. And before going into it, we get the same thing again. We get a nice interview with Ganzoku, or Ganmight as I'm calling him. It's, what is Stenka to you? Thankfully, they used this moment to give us a bit of background information on him. He says that Stenku is a method of self-expression, so it's no different from dancing, painting, or words. I'm going to punch everybody with this fist. This is the only way that I try and get others to understand me, was through violence, but nobody likes me. The world wouldn't understand me. They couldn't have found a perfect voice actor. It just has All Might written all over it, and the way that he even plays the role. Kenta plays this role, bringing those great elements from All Might into this character as well. It's a role made for him. There's some screenshots coming up. It depends how I feel. I might use them as the thumbnail. Me editing this, I feel bad. I'm trying not to get a strike for all the blood. And now I've got nudity to contend with. Great. The challenge increases. So we get our flashback of some prison life. Whilst in prison, he said that he enjoyed prison because it was full of violence. The time that he punched a guard, and everybody started to rejoice. Because bear in mind, he said nobody understood him and he was using violence to try and get people to understand him. People are cheering for him, so he feels accepted. And we see Dick Sensei! Oh my god, Dick Sensei is back. And he said that Dick Sensei was the only person who could actually beat him. If he was ever out of control, that the warden would send for Dick Sensei to come and kind of calm him down. And he was really happy to have the honour to fight Dick Sensei, because occasionally he said, I was able to win. So that takes us into the fight itself, and we just get these screenshots of Ganmight. We get these like rainbow backgrounds, and he reminds me of Alexander Armstrong from Fullmetal Alchemist. He's this strong man, but he's also got like these little gold like diamonds sparkling around him as he's like going, come at me. It gets even better as we go through the episode. As we cut back to our Stenka, Ganmight takes off his clothing, and we can see that he has tattoos. The others who walked in initially at the start, where we saw Sugimoto watching him leave, have finally worked out that Sugimoto knew that this guy had tattoos, that he actually wants to face the guy full on in a Stenka. As we saw his face initially, he doesn't want to have a match fix, he doesn't want to cheat, he wants to face this guy full on in a fair and square in a fight. That's what he wants. And that's also what I want, so I'm very happy that we kind of screwed the whole match fixing thing. And Sugimoto says, I have a plan. It's like, fight as hard as you can. We never find out what this plan is. That is our running gag throughout the entire episode. The events of this episode are just so unbelievable as they go. So let's flick away from our naked boys for a moment and go and check out what Team Boner is up to. Team Boner is stalking the blonde-haired man who was with the bartender. So he's the one who took the dog initially. He's not at the Stenka, he's watching the dog. They're taking matters into their own hands, and they're going to try and make a break to get the dog out themselves. So let's go to Stenka. Let's discuss Stenka. It's here. Sugimoto just gets sent flying. The first punch, he didn't stand a chance, and Gan just knocks him flying. We get this really nice exchange of blows. The lighting, I think I didn't mention it last episode, is just, we get such a bright light, and because obviously these guys are working up quite a bit of a sweat, it looks like a blur in a sense, or it looks like a bit of overexposure in the picture. But it's actually the fact that the light is so bright. It gives it a bit of an atmosphere. This atmosphere feels warm. I feel hot just looking at the fight, and not just because I'm seeing lots of muscles going around and I've got Sugimoto topless. No, not just because of that. If I was in that crowd, you've got them in this log cabin, it looks hot. These guys probably, you can kind of imagine the smell of sweaty men. In the Stenka, it's done really, really well, and the atmosphere is built up really, really nicely as well. And the fight, as somebody punches another person, you can really feel the power behind it. So the punches don't feel empty, they feel really oomph. They've got a bit of oomph behind them. Ganmight, who is now hyped because he lives for the fight. He's that character who lives to fight stronger and stronger people. Sugimoto is down on his knees pretty quickly. Tsukizuma sending his opponent flying towards Sugimoto, who pulls him in and then punches him. He's also helping the others up. I don't know if this is fully legal in the sense of Stenka. I mean, are you supposed to just focus on your one opponent? The fact that he's like punching two people out? Who knows? I don't have the rule for Stenka in front of me. This makes Ganmight so jealous. Get this moment when he's like, oh no, please look at me. And he gets really, really jealous. And his punches, initially they start out as these really cute little Oni-chan hitting the guy on the shoulders. But then they turn really fierce. He goes full on ham. We can see Sugimoto get sent flying into Tanigaki. Team Sugimoto is now left. They've beaten 3 out of the 4, and Ganmight is the only one left. Ganmight then goes, please, all 4 of you must come at me at once. He sends all 4 flying. This guy is just OP. And obviously, we found out before that Dick Sensei is really super strong. But then we found out that Ganmight says that occasionally I would also beat him. I'm a little concerned that Sugimoto couldn't beat Ganmight, and obviously we haven't seen Dick Sensei versus Sugimoto yet. I don't think I want to see that fight. I don't think that's a fight Sugimoto's going to win. Ganmight says, this is me. But at this point, he's won. He has won the Stenka. But that's when Sugimoto booting him in the face. As the crowd says, this is cheating. And they get angrier and angrier because they're like, we bet on you guys and you should be losing. Sugimoto then throws a punch at Tanigaki, and then Koito, and then Tsukizuma. And the crowd, Sugimoto just goes nuts. Running gag Koito going, is this part of your plan? Is this what you planned? Sugimoto just channeling his inner JoJo, even though JoJo is technically the grandchild of this anime. He just kind of whoops everybody and says, I am immortal Sugimoto. We also get this guy, I'm going to put this guy up, this guy's like, this is Stenka, and he's like crying in happiness as everybody in the room starts to beat the crap out of each other. Koito then going, is this part of your plan too? Sugimoto turns around and slices Koito's hand open, and then there's this silence. As soon as I saw that liquid leaking out of Sugimoto's brain, I was like, oh, Captain Leaky Brain Mark II! I'm really, really worried, and from now on, we're calling him Zombie Moto. That's it, he's gone crazy. I'm actually really concerned. Are we at the turning point now for Sugimoto's character? He took that bullet to the brain, and it's obviously it's affected him, and we see with the rest of his actions that it's really affected Sugimoto. I don't read the manga, so I don't know if I'm correct. I'm like 80% certain that Sugimoto is probably not going to be making it to the end of the season or the series. Not the season. I think we're going to get more seasons. Hopefully, I think there's quite a bit of material. I just don't think he's going to be joining us. I've got my reasoning. I'm not going to go into it too much because, I mean, I don't know. And obviously, some of you guys might know. I don't know if the manga's still running. But I just get this little gut feeling that he's not going to be alive at the end of this. This looks serious. I mean, the fact that his brain's leaking out. And I'm sure we've got Captain Leaky Brain rocking that look as well. Everyone seems to love this Captain Leaky Brain, and I'm sorry, he does literally, he terrifies me. If I ever met him, I think I'd just kind of be the one edging slowly out of the room going, I want to get out, I want out. Running fort there. I just think this might be the turning point for Sugimoto, and let's just keep our eye on him throughout this season and see what happens, to see if this is just a one-off, but I don't think it's gonna be. See, we've heard Koito asking this is part of the plan, and we can hear the others go, this isn't part of the plan. He's taken too many blows to the head. He's gone crazy. He picks up a hammer and a sickle. See, I know this is set near Russia, become the symbol of Russia. Anime of bears, and we've got the hammer and the sickle in it. And he's running around whipping all these people's butts. And I'm just like, I think if I was looking deep enough, I think there's something dark going on with that. This guy again. Let's give it up for this guy, everybody. This guy right here. Can I get a like for this guy? This guy. And he goes, this is not Stenka, as Sugimoto goes in to attack everybody with the hammer and the sickle. Ganmight's face as well, as Zombie Moto comes up to him and he goes, proper zombie. Instead of going brains, it's gold. And Ganmight's like, he actually looks seriously hurt. Was that the only reason that you wanted to fight me? That's it, you were only after me for the tattoos? And he looks genuinely hurt, this guy, and he starts to cry. And he's like, I thought we could understand each other. And he runs away properly with these tears in the air as he runs. Into the forest he runs. It's almost like I wanted to go, back at Oni-chan, back her, as he runs away. He literally pegs it out into the forest. I feel hurt, guys. Can we have a moment of silence for Ganmight as he's worked out that Sugimoto, man, this the breaking of trust. F in the chat, everybody. F in the chat. We need a moment of silence for Ganmight as his trust was shattered by Sugimoto. He thought he loved him, guys, and he didn't. He was just after him for his body. Got Zombie Moto, who's going crazy. Everybody running for their lives. Now that Team Sugimoto doesn't have Team Sugimoto for this little next bit, I'm going to call it Team... Let's go for... Team Tanigaki. Fine. Team Tanigaki now heads out to follow our friend into the forest. They say, we've got to leave Zombie Moto because he's too dangerous. We have to go. Our boy Ganmight running into the forest. He has a moment. He's like, I can't stay here anymore. They know. He runs into the Wolverine, which is a nice tie-in to the first episode. So the Wolverine wasn't just a running gag. He's back again. Cutting back to Team Tanigaki, who are cold. It's dark, they're cold. Nobody's got any weapons because they're topless still from the Stenka. And they hear a scream. And they walk in on Ganmight getting attacked by the Wolverine. Koito goes, do you have a gun? So Kizuma's like, do I look like I do? Like, I mean, really, Koito? This guy is topless. You can see he doesn't have a gun. He is topless. There is no gun. And they grab the Wolverine and toss it and grab Ganmight as they take a chance to run. There's a shack in the woods and the guys run towards it. And as they get in, they realise they've made a big mistake because it's a Russian steam bath. I'm really hoping this is actual Russian here. Banya. The boys are in a banya. We've gone from Stenka to banya. It's either death by Wolverine or it's death by the fact that this is a Russian steam bath. It's probably really hard to breathe. Hopefully none of these boys have asthma. They're even like, I can't think straight. It's too hot to think straight. It's getting hotter and hotter. This is our halfway point. We cut back to Team Boner, who have managed to get the gun. So the gun that the Team Tanigaki need is actually with Boner. They have the gun. They can find out that the place where the dog is being kept has a lock on it. And this cuts back. This cuts back to full-on naked. Everybody is naked in the banya. It's okay. The naked boys are here now. This next scene with the guys in the banya, it really gives me flashbacks to one of the funniest scenes from like season 2 where the boys, I think they smoke, is it a beaver or something? They smoke meat and it's an aphrodisiac. And it's that moment when they're all in a room and they're getting hotter and hotter and more kind of horned up. You just get that funny moment when they're all kind of nude and they're like wrestling and they're doing like sumo wrestling. That is just this. it just really reminded me of that scene. And that scene was just absolutely fantastically written. And that scene had me in tears. And to be fair, this episode at points had me laughing and in tears. It was just so good. It's so nice to see Golden Kamuy back with its full-on comedy. It's great. The boys are getting hotter and hotter. It's too hard to think. Everybody's kind of sweating and they're struggling to think what to do. And we see Ganmight starting to make more and more steam. So I've even put, I don't think he's wounded that badly. The Wolverine didn't hurt him that badly because he seems absolutely fine. And then he whips absolutely everybody with these Venka leaves. And he says this stimulates blood flow and it makes you feel hotter. They're all like, well, are you trying to get us killed? He's like, well, this is self-defense because you're here after my tattoos. I know you want my tattoos. Koita then slaps Ganmight with the leaves. It's that moan. It's that moan. This episode is just fantastic. That moan as he falls to the wall, and it's so... we're now calling him Kinky Mite. We're getting a name change. He's now Kinky Mite. Kinky Mite says, I want you all to strike me at once. And it cuts. Just, Kenta, you had the perfect voice actor for this role. Let's get back to Team Boner whilst that madness is going on. They're trying to steal the keys from the drunk sleeping blonde guy, who is now the nickname because I don't care about this guy at all. He's just here. He's just a bad guy. He's still on a dog. And Boner is really bad. He's hitting the guy in the face, and I think he touches the keys once. He briefly touches them, and then he physically, literally wakes the guy up by opening his eye. He literally gets a stick in his eye, and he opens it. The Ainu are clever. As the guy opens the door to come and chase them, he triggers a tripwire, and a stone falls smack on his head, knocking him out. That little scene ends on a gunshot as the guys shoot the padlock with the dog. This gunshot rings out. We cut to Zombie Moto. And then we cut back to Kinky Mite. We've just got them all whipping him. And even Sakizuma's like, what am I doing? And let me put it for you guys. Can you imagine this headline? 3 grown men whip a Kinky Mite with leaves naked in a Russian steam bath. This is why I love Golden Kamuy. Because you end up saying things that you never thought in your wildest dreams that you'd ever say. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine that All Might would be naked, surrounded by 3 grown men being whipped to death by leaves. Never. You saw it here, guys. I'm glad I can experience this madness with you guys. Again, the ongoing gag of Koito going, is this all part of Sugimoto's plan, right? No, it is not. It's definitely not. Team Boner are the first people to have some kind of success in this actual episode. They have the dog, they've recaptured it, and then they spot Sugimoto coming out of the darkness, walking towards them at this like zombie kind of crawl. And they're like, don't stop, there's something wrong with him. He's gone crazy. And Boner manages to fall off the sled as the Wolverine comes in to attack him. We're now rounding up to our climax. Here we go, guys. Boner goes in to block with the gun and his bullets fall to the ground. I'm so sorry I forgot the Shiba's name last episode. Ryu is here. Ryu grabs the Wolverine and Zombie Moto appears also heading towards them and he kind of growls. I'm so glad it's the spoopy season. Who wants to cosplay Zombie Moto for Halloween, guys? This might be my favourite moment. This moment here when Tanigaki appears to help Boner load the gun. And he says, you've got one shot, make it count. Ew, he's like a dad to him. I love him. Inkime is Boner's surrogate mum. Tanigaki and Inkime are an unofficial couple. It's just this unofficial family. Boner closing his eyes and then he pulls the trigger and the Wolverine dies. Boner is the one to kill the Wolverine. And he says, is this a boner? And Tanigaki's like, yes, this is a boner. Bearing in mind that he's saying this as he's nude. I'm like, this is such a great moment. But it's also just like ironic. Let's cut to the next chunk where we've got Kinky Mite versus Zombie Moto, whose brain is still leaking out of his head. Zombie Moto drops all of his weapons and they go in for round 2 of Stenka. Zombie Moto's literally berserk. He's like punching over and over again at poor Kinky Mite. Team Tanigaki being like, should we help? They're like, but who do we help? I feel bad for Kinky Mite. Kinky Mite's like, but why do you feel such anger? Because he can sense the rage coming off fists. And he's like, who are you angry at? As he punches Sugimoto, we get the flashbacks. Might be my second favourite moment. We get these flashes of Sugimoto's past. We see Asirpa. We see a flash to the prison scene, the guy getting shot in front of him. We get all these nice little flashbacks. And then we hear, I am useless. And this is what I think he's been trying to say throughout the entire episode, because he keeps going I over and over again. He's trying to say that he's useless. We get this really nice moment with Kinky Mite going, you need to forgive yourself. because you're working so hard and you're a mess right now. At this moment in time, I really felt like it was Sugimoto talking about his ex, crying. Kinky might be in that friend going, it's okay, darling. You know, you gotta forgive yourself. It really felt like a bit of a kind of mum pep talk moment. I love it. They punch each other at the same time. Team Tanigaki go in to try and stop him. And then we get this crack. Turns out that they're on top of this frozen lake. Everybody falls into the frozen lake. The moment, that beautiful moment with Sugimoto feeling sad, over. Everyone's now in the lake. We just see Koito. I'm pretty sure it's Koito. And he kind of stands teetering on the edge. And like, he doesn't go in straight away. And he's in this dive pose. He does a belly flop and he just flops into the water after. And this brings back Zombimoto to his senses. And we're about to get a Becca's seal of approval here. Zombimoto not being Zombimoto anymore. You get this really high pitch. It's cold. I am praising you. Kobayashi, I am praising you. So Kahiro Kobayashi, who is the voice actor for Sugimoto, so much praise for his work in this actual episode. I mean, he is a fantastic voice actor anyway, and I love Sugimoto as a character. Just that high pitch, it's cold. I love it. This episode just has rewatch value. And we just see Kinky Might and Sugimoto standing there, just shivering, kind of all back to normal. And they're like, together, they're like, it's cold. And he's just like, let's go back to the Banya. Sakizuma pulling Koito out of the lake. Poor guy. We just get this scene where like you've got these like 5 naked men just freezing their butts off, kind of going, let's go back, it's cold. We get another little touching moment, which is just kind of behind the madness that's going on. Enika, she comes up to Bona and she compliments him. She's like, that you looked so cool. You took out the Wolverine. You were so cool. Bona's like, well, actually, Tanigaki was kind of the one who did it. And she's like, well, yeah, you had your eyes closed the entire bit. A nice little moment with Bona. A nice little moment there with those two. Then we cut back to the madness. Cut back to the madness of the Banya. Everybody now being butt naked here in the Banya. Koito again going, so what was your plan? And it's just that moment where he's like, I forgot. Ah, it's beautiful. That running gag. Kinky Might's like, let's continue this. Obviously, he knows back to reality of like the fact that they're here and he's got the tattoos and he's like, we've got to continue this, right? Sugimoto says, I don't want to kill you, but sooner or later, somebody's going to come, and as much as you're a great brawler, you can't beat a gun. Let us copy the tattoos. We're going to go and find the gold, and then nobody's going to want your tattoos anymore. You need to leave, go west, and I think you should go to Russia and pursue Stenka because of how good he is at brawling. Kind of seems a little bit put out. He's like, I'll go and find a stronger opponent. I'm also quite sad that this character's only really kind of in it for one episode. I would have liked to have seen more of him. I guess it's a cameo. I'm still going to call it an All Might cameo because it really was. Came in, we saw an amazing fight, and then we had this moment where he acts like a mum to Sugimoto and he gives him a pep talk, which is what All Might is quite good at, is giving a pep talk to Deku. Is what he does. It's just nice to see. I'm going to treat this entire character as just a cameo. He says that name that Asirpa, and Kinky Might recalls the name Zombimoto was rambling on about. And it turns out that Zombimight knows Asirpa. He says that he remembers her because the man who she was with had tattoos, and that is Shiraishi. Or we're calling him the Escape King because he's earned that nickname. He says, I overheard them talking in a tavern. And Sugimoto's asking, what did she say? And he kind of goes, it's probably about you. Even though when we find out what she actually said, I don't understand how he didn't have, how it's only probably, it's a definitely talking about you, because she even says his name. And in this flashback, we get Asirpa and Shiraishi kind of in this tavern together drinking. Shiraishi's like, I can't see him dying. I mean, I know I said that, but I mean, if he didn't follow us up here, then maybe... Sure, everyone's doubting the fact that Sugimoto is alive. But Asirpa's like, what are you talking about? He's the immortal Sugimoto. Maybe this should be the thumbnail? I don't know. There's so many good thumbnail moments in this. Sugimoto's blushing. He looks very beat up, and I know as well he's got a scar going across his face, so it's really difficult, but you can't tell me Sugimoto was not blushing at that. On this really high note of Sugimoto blushing, the music starts to change. We get a bit of violin go on. And we're here. We are finally here. We're touching in with Team Asirpa. This is it. We're finally getting our reunion. And bear in mind, for me, it's been, I don't know, a few weeks since I saw these guys. For you guys, I'm guessing it's been 2 years since you saw some of these characters. But we're here, guys. What a perfect way to introduce them back into us. We look into a bunch of seals, and one of them takes a headshot and falls into the water. Before we even saw him, I was like, I bet that was Agata. That was him, right? My boy is back. And of course, if you know me or if you've just found me recently, I'm a very big Kenjiro Suda fan for many reasons, as well of the fact that I've played and I picked his characters in Ikemen Vampire. Very big Leonardo fan because of him. And of course, last season, he was in 3 animes I was watching. He's also in Jujutsu Kaisen, which is currently airing. I'm also watching. Gotta recommend it. Its first 2 episodes have been killer. Just hope that Mappa doesn't ruin it like it did with 2 of these series last season. But we're here, and Ogata is back. Remember the last time you guys saw him, you saw him headshotting Asirpa's dad. He headshot him. He also did the headshot with Sugimoto and misses somehow. And that was the last time we saw him 2 years ago, or a few weeks ago if you're me. Our first meeting in season 3 is literally him headshotting a seal. You couldn't have been any more blunt about the meeting with this guy again. He's back. We get Kiriranki in a boat with our friend Agata, who it seems they are hunting seals. Kiriranki is like to the side, one of the wounded ones got away, and we see her boots first. First we see her boots, and then we cut on a painting screenshot of Asirpa jumping in the air. We're back, guys. We are back. We're back with our first reunion with these guys. And this is the end of episode 2. They're finally here. Looks like we're probably going to be seeing Team Asirpa finally in episode 3. The ending, now that we've come to the rough ending now, the ending is Sixth Lie, and this is The Shadow is the Light. I think it works. I wasn't so keen initially, but it is growing on me. And I do like the fact that we're following a snowflake, which is linking up Asirpa and Sugimoto. Love it. End credits scene with Asirpa and Kiriranki skinning and gutting the sea lion, or seal, I think it's a seal. And we finally get our boys. So Shiraishi's here, Ogata is here. She offers them some seal meat, and it's just the fact that we get Ogata belching. I think he it's like a retch or a belch, and it turns out that the meat is so fatty that he's obviously struggling to get it down. We then get a very foreshadowy line. Now, Ogata obviously is referencing the seal he's just killed, or he's let get away. He didn't actually kill it. Asirpa had to come in and give it the final blow. He says, I know I hit it in the head, but it didn't go down. Asirpa replies, it's like a bear. The bone on the head is strong, so when you're facing a rough opponent, don't go for the head. You never aim for the head. And it's that look that Kiro gives us that cuts the ending. He just looks at the camera and smirks. And that is the end of the episode. But you cannot tell me that conversation right there wasn't foreshadowing. I know they're talking about a seal here. You can't tell me that this conversation here wasn't a double entendre. It wasn't. It holds a second meaning because they're talking about Sugimoto. Ogata himself did say, I think at the very last second season, he was like, I know I hit him in the head, but I don't think he's dead. And this is just that. It's just that line again. Ogata being the marksman he is, and he might be the king of headshots, and it really is headshot madness with that guy. That little conversation just bringing back that uncertainty, that knowing that Sugimoto is out there. And I can't imagine next time Sugimoto sees Ogata, it's going to be very friendly. As much as we had that great moment with them all nude and getting intoxicated, that scene with them all half naked and wrestling, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be out. I think it's going to be out to kill next time they see each other, which is sad because I really enjoyed the interactions of having Ogata with the team. I think a big part of season 2 being one of my favourite seasons was just the interactions with him, and they're all like cutting up the meat. And the ongoing gag was that Ogata just didn't take part. He wasn't taking part. And then when he finally takes part and it feels like he's part of the team and we're getting past this aloof, cold character, then obviously the ultimate betrayal of season 2 happened. It's sad. I'm glad that he's kind of here in the second team with Asirpa, but at the same time, he's not a good guy. I'm sad. I'm so sad that we couldn't have continued the awesome pairing up we had last season. But that was our episode. This episode has been absolutely fantastic. I love this episode. There were so many good moments, so many laugh moments, so many great comedy moments, but we also got some really touching moments as well, which is what Golden Kamuy is fantastic at. It's really good at throwing you through the feel train. It will one moment have you absolutely crying, laughing, and then the next moment it's hitting you with the feels. I felt something when I finally saw Asirpa. Even though it's a screenshot initially and we just see that brief moment with the second team, that's something, me just kind of going, oh my god, we're here. I'm so excited to see these characters again. I'm hyped. This alongside Moriarty, they are my most hyped animes this season for me. Even though it is a strong anime season, and as you guys might have seen, I am currently reporting out on 5 animes. So if you haven't already, go and check out the other releases I'm doing. It might be another anime that you have seen. So make sure you're checking out all those videos. If you are watching the Moriarty stuff, there is no Moriarty video this week. First episode, which I already released on, was a premiere. So they premiered it. I've already done first episode. We're going to have to wait another week before we get some goodness there. Just to go through my quick schedule this season. Here we go. Monday, you've got your Golden Kamuy. Every Monday, tune in for some Golden Kamuy fun. Tuesday, you've got your Moriarty goodness, but not this week. Wednesday is Ikeburo Westgate Park and Noblesse. Although, because Moriarty's not appearing Tuesday, this week we're going to have Ikeburo Westgate Park on Tuesday instead. And on Friday, you guys are having The Journey of Elena, which is a very recent one of mine, so go and check that one out. I don't see many people talking about it. I think it has gone under the covers, but it is a golden gem worth your time. Definitely worth checking out. This has been a fantastic episode. I'm going to have so much fun trying to work out how to edit this and put my face in the way of trying not to get a strike on any sense of nudity or blood. It's been a fun one, guys. So make sure you F for respect of the loss of Ganmight's loss of respect for that relationship. The ship between him and Sugimoto has sunk, guys. F for respect. Down the bottom now. I need F everywhere. I want to see all your Fs in the chat. Let's do it. Don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe. It helps me out. And it also, all of the likes help me work out where I need to be focusing in on. At the moment, guys, it seems that Moriarty is killing the beast. It is the king of my releases so far with the most likes and views. You guys really want to let them get away with it. Come on. We need to up the effort. Let's make Golden Kamuy the best one. At the end of this season, I will be crowning my favourite of the season. Let's make it a good one and let's see how far Golden Kamuy can go. I'm here for the ride and I hope you guys can join me for this ride that is the Golden Kamuy. Have a good one, guys. Bye bye.